Well, I want to go back, kind of jump around a little bit, and you said, as you said, you came to the States in '84. What was the impetus for you coming here?
It was my then fiancé who later married and had 2 kids.
Oh,
yeah.
And so he was moving here. Did you? Was it a hard adjustment to come here for you?
I died. I had to be the phoenix, I completely, coming from a place that I had public transportation. I didn't drive here. I knew the language. The 2 words that I knew was money and shit. No friends, no nothing. Everything was so different. I was pretty lonely, but I just digged. I did what I could.
Well, it sounds like you kind of reached out to find some common people in community. If you were hooked up with Ricardo Peixoto right away.
Not really. I went other ways and started getting music scholarships and so far so on. Really, yeah. There were other little different venues that I just did by myself, even before starting to work with Ricardo.
Before you came here, you had, and I would imagine you still have, an interest in music from a healing standpoint, and in particular, you have a degree in music therapy, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that field?
Well, in Brazil it's different than here. When you get to finish high school, you have to go through what called vestibular, which is like hard tests to go to school. And in reality, I was going to go to medical school, and then but medical school is very hard to get in, and I got very scared. Should I go do music? But I wasn't a very good reader either. And it's like, oh my God, okay, I gotta go to music therapy. And in a way, it was beautiful because it was a great, beautiful set of studies we did, and it has a lot to do, with my philosophy and the way I see music, not just entertainment. It's like life. Itself.
Have you been able to practice that, or in what ways? Excellent. Every performance is and hopefully some of that medicine comes to the rest of the crowd too.
Optimally, that's the whole thing. If you have something good and if you are able to share it, that's the treasure.
Well, I was reading a review. I believe it was a review of Inverse Universe, I believe, and they talked about something that I found very curious. That for you, there's a big difference, and this kind of gets into a more holistic approach to music and looking at music history, but the difference between Brazil with a Z and Brazil with an S, and I couldn't even really begin to tell what the difference was, but it sounded very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you see, sometimes when it happened all the time. Like when I moved here, everything about gigs, Brazilian gigs, had to have, dancers with bikinis and stuff like that. And that would be the Brazil with Z. You know what I mean? The Brazil for tourists, the Brazil that only resumes to a very narrow, image and idea. And Brazil with S, I would say that's the Brazil that someone that lived there or, gets more a chance to see it with more multi-faced realities and also, dreams. It's more about what it's the multiplicity of things, of the real Brazil, I would say. And Brazil with Z is what they sell. Oh, this and that, samba, and it's not just that. There's a lot of it's a bittersweet thing too. It's deeper and it's broader.
And that seems to be something that seems to influence you. The broadness of that, and it's bringing in some of the history of slavery and all of that into it. That maybe we don't see as looking at Brazil and seeing that Brazil with a Z.
No, and even Brazilians sometimes. I see, you know, it's just more stories and more nuances that escape. You know, you have to get. What's the name of that thing you use in the kitchen to, in the colander? One with a smaller hole, so they make it finer and finer. But really, there's so many different, you know, about the allegoric images and the whole mythology, the poetry, you know, the relationships between people. And it's just so much going on that I really appreciate being able to somehow kind of bring a little bit forth of that to be, you know, exposed and enjoyed in some level, even if it's just, you know, because art is for that. I'm not going to be explaining anything, you know. The poetry somehow communicates the pores or something, you know.
Right, you don't have to be so overt about it.
Yeah, it's pedagogic, you know. Here in 1927, you know, that happens. But yeah, like when I write the lyrics, and you know, there's a new song I wrote that I kind of put some passages of poetry from different times and music, like listening to the Urapuru cantar, which is a kind of a Brazilian bird that goes. It's very beautiful in Amazon forest, and I think almost always kind of enchanted me, you know. Or saying that looking at the balloons going up in the sky, and it's not the balloons that we imagine here. It's the balloons from the Catholic parties, celebrations in June, the Festas Juninas. It's just those beautiful things, those paper balloons going from this ground of stars. The Chão de Estrelas is another song that was beautiful, beautiful poetry. And so I catch those little things here and there. So that's, to me, that's Brazilian as, you know, the ones that I heard my grandfather talking, you know, yeah.
Well, remind people where they can find out more about you. Do you have a presence on the internet?
If you can say so, yes. I'm pretty disorganized, but if you go claudiavillela.com, you can find something in there. But it's true, I'm trying to get everything together. I not even remember to bring my clothes to the game.
Well, we're all trying to get our things together, so we're all in it together. Well, it's a pleasure to chat with you and talk with you, and thanks for coming to town and playing Jazz Live San Diego.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm glad, very happy to be here. Thank you.
Great.
It felt like I was naked.